Awesome music, thank you. All right, welcome to Cool Stuff Sunday.
Yeah.
You still loving it?
Yes.
Feeling it? Okay. The reason that we wanted to do Cool Stuff Sunday is because we are learning to celebrate ourselves, celebrate all of our many aspects of self, just celebrate. Bring those things that we have in our heart out to the surface so we can actually look at them, the cool stuff. So did you have fun looking for something cool to wear or bring today?
Yes.
And those of you that perhaps did not, do you feel cooler now that you're here? Some? Yes, okay, good. All right, so I must share my cool stuff with you. So I was thinking this is interesting for me because I have several things that are very, very cool. What I'm wearing is a very cool jacket. I studied feng shui for a long, long time. And when I first started studying it, I said to Patrick, I want to do this. I want to study feng shui for myself. It's not going to help the church, and it's going to cost a lot of money. But I want to do it for me. My heart is calling me. And he just looked at me, and we were on a tight budget, and he just said, well, let's do it. So I took the application for the school, wrapped it in an affirmation, and put it in the prosperity corner of my house, where it lived. And as school began, of course, there was always enough to pay for it. And after many, many years of arduous work and time, it's one of those situations that had I known how much it would have costed me in energy, effort, daily work for several years, almost 5 years, I might not have been so excited about it. But it's one of those things that you look back and go, couldn't have been any better. So 2005, I graduated, and a comrade and I were goofing around, and so she designed a jacket with a symbol for feng shui, and at the top of it she has the symbol for all the 5 elements, and then the dragon energy, which is symbolic in feng shui energy. So she designed it, and so she and I had one done, and we got one for our teacher. So this is one of 3 jackets in the world, and I absolutely adore it. Wow. Can you guys see the symbols in the back? Yes. Is it not awesome?
Yes.
So it's way cool to me because it represents years and years and years of training. Not only is it beautiful. So I hope you had as much fun looking for your stuff, your cool stuff. And as we do that, what the whole intention was try to find a sense of joy for self. Try to remember those moments of joy and try to remember that we are much better off than our mind would tell us. We're much more powerful than our mind would tell us. And we're in a good space, and yet our mind would tell us something different. So when I was preparing this service, Spirit showed me this writing in Jesus Teacher Healer, which you all know I sleep on. So I wanted to share this with you. On earth, if you desire to go to a particular function, you wear a dress suitable for the occasion. And if you do not clothe yourself rightly, you are unable to enter the function. How can man expect to participate in the joys of the heavenly life if he has no clothing, no aura, no senses developed which will enable him to contact the spheres of life? Meditation alone will not give you the clothing or the vehicle. Simply being love in your relationships will clothe you in the energy you need to meet the King. So I thought that was appropriate for what we're doing today. Simply meditating will not give you the vibration and frequency, but acting, participating, clothing yourself in your own thoughts and body, wearing and building that auric field of love and light, truth and God consciousness. That's what builds the energy around you. And that's your clothing that you will take into the spirit world in a joyful state. So easy, huh? So, Spirit said, only when we are free to celebrate ourselves can our light fully shine. Only when we are free to celebrate ourselves can our light fully shine. Now, most of you all have been around metaphysics for a while, so you really don't have those blockages to yourself that, oh, people aren't going to like me anymore. You've kind of moved through that, haven't you? Yes. I'm not afraid to be me. I'm not afraid to be me. I'm really not afraid to be me. But it's easier to look like everybody else. And it's easier not to open my mouth. It's easier to blend in. But I'm not afraid to be me. Do you stand there? Do you see that? Got two different vibrations going on. Because if you're not afraid to be me, why wouldn't you blend with everybody else? Why isn't everybody your brother, sister, child of God? Why are you so different? It's time to celebrate ourselves in every moment. Say, I am awesome.
I am awesome.
Say it again.
I am awesome.
How you feel?
Awesome.
You are awesome. And when you walk into the 7-Eleven, should you stop being awesome? No, you should be awesome when you walk in that Quick Trip or whatever it is that we go to these days. We should be awesome everywhere we go. All right. So we've got our energy going. We're focusing on joy and love. We're focusing on joy. This whole month is about joy. Last Sunday we spoke a lot about taking that step, celebrating self. Did any of you notice that as you focused on joy this week, things that were unlike joy came up for you? And you had to pull yourself back into, no, let me remember, let me be joyful, let me take a different attitude toward this. How well did we do? Me? Okay. How can we keep taking another step? And Spirit said, when we are focused on joy, cool stuff Sunday, doing something awesome. Do you all love my hair?
Yes. Yes.
Jackie came in and did my hair today in the style of 2015. Do people wear their hair this way? She said, yes, they do. Focusing on forward motion, focusing on trying new things, focusing on being you in a higher way. Spirit said when you stop focusing, you will fall back into your working vibration. You know what I'm saying? Your working vibration. How do I work every day in the world? My working energy. So, how do we keep remembering to bring greater joy and life into our world? To be cool, to be alive. It could be trying new things. It could be every day trying something new and different. But somehow we have to start shifting our value of self and how we see ourselves and what we look as joy. Spirit was showing me this picture that every single life force on this planet has beauty in it. Everything has beauty in it. The forms, the waves, whether it's harmonious for us or not. If you looked at something under a microscope, you'd say, oh, that's very interesting and beautiful, even though it may not be healthy for me. But life is built on a base of beauty and harmony, all of life. And if we remember that, then we remember we are also based on that, are we not? We're built in this energy, this matrix of beauty and harmony. So, I had an opportunity this week to go through some of the older photographs that I have in my home. I was looking for something in particular. And I found a picture of myself when I was 37. 35? 37? 35. 35. And I picked up the picture, and you know what I remembered? I didn't remember when I didn't hear that, but I remembered not what was happening in the picture, but I remembered how I felt about that picture later on. I picked up the picture, and I remembered, oh, I used to hate this picture. That's what came through my mind. I used to hate this picture. I used to think I looked awful. I used to think I was terrible. I don't know what's wrong with me. I really didn't like me. And as the seasoned person I am today, well over 35, I looked at the picture and I went, oh God, how sweet is she? Look at her. She's adorable. She's cute. She's happy. She's thin. She hasn't started putting any weight on yet. And I remembered when it was taken. I was in Boston doing a retreat, and I had come to the decision that I was going to leave my job in corporate and do ministry full-time. I had been doing it part-time at this point. 3 days a week, corporate to pay the bills, ministry, stick it in the bank account. And I'd made that decision. I was choosing my life. No matter what was going to happen, I was finally enjoyed choosing my life. Why do you think I looked at it negatively in later years? Because I was in the throes of working it. Just like the feng shui, in the throes of working it. You know, the work that you have to do every single day, getting up, blah, blah, blah. And now I can look at it and I can go, that girl's choosing. She is joy-filled and happy because she's going to redirect her life. And I can say that now because we have some chilling going on. Because all the things I was fighting for, trying to heal within myself, I'm on the other side. In so many ways. I know some of you are getting a list out. Well, Cindy, I realize that. However, for the most part, I can now see the beauty and the joy of that young girl as she's taking an absolute daring step into her world. It was daring, you know? Mortgage to pay, food to put on the table, child that ate a lot. You know, interesting. All right. So the reason that they wanted me to bring that up is so often we'll have these joyful moments that are just life-changing. And then we tend to erase them and make them less than. And then we go, no, my life is terrible. I'm never happy. You were happy yesterday. Knock it off. And people say, why are you sad? You were happy yesterday. Maybe I wasn't. We rewrite it. We rewrite everything. Joy is something that we have to hold in our consciousness. And joy is not outside of work. Even when we're in the trenches doing the most detailed work we can possibly imagine. We don't have to live our joy outside. It doesn't have to stay in a dream someday. It can be right there in that moment. Just breathe and remember, I chose to be here. This was my dream. Hey, let me have some fun with it. You know, breathing and remembering. All right. So, joy, as we talked about before, is about radiating life. It warms your world. Love, I love. Energy moves from me and it's received by whoever is willing to receive it, and I get love back to me. You see? Love. Joy is, oh, I'm on, I'm lit, I'm alive, I'm joyful, and whoever comes in my field is going to be affected by it, right? I'm not directing it to anybody, I'm not trying to make anybody laugh, I'm joy. And people who don't want to be joy, avoid me. We all know that experience. And don't you feel such power when you are in that space? All right. Focusing on the life that you have, focusing on who you are. They say seek the good and praise it. I say seek the joy and praise it. Do you know what praising means? Praising means that is my ideal. I'm going to praise that. That's the ideal I want to become. So if I praise something, I want to become that. I want to lift into that higher realm. So, last week we talked about I am not responsible for anyone else's happiness. I'm keeping my happiness is my responsibility. I'm not responsible for yours. Did anybody have an opportunity to work with that this week? Okay, good. And how we fare? Good. Okay, so at least we're becoming awake. This is good. The most important thing is to recognize when things take you down. When we are starting to affirm joy, everything within us that is not joyful will come to our attention. Those are the moments we're in the workings of it. And that's when we have to remember, no, this was my choice. I'm going to love this and have joy. The bumps in the road aren't important. The attitude we maintain is. So I had an opportunity to, and I'll share this very briefly, I had an opportunity this week to go through a joyful challenge. I was so excited, you know, feel little bumps along the road, and I keep breathing it in. No, get up, lift yourself up, lift yourself up. And so I was real excited. There's a sale on refrigerators, and we had our first Saturday off in months, probably this year. And we were going to go shopping. It was so exciting. I was so excited, had all the ads, had everything measured, going to go get a fridge. We were happy. Does that excite you, Fine? So someone had called and said, I can go shopping with you on Saturday. I said, no, I can't. Patrick and I are doing fridge shopping. We're going to go hunting for a fridge. So I was tickled, really excited. Our first, big adventure. But, so I got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, Thursday. My brother's wife had died. And talking with him on the phone, of course, she had just died, and he was trying to get to the hospital where she was. Talking with him on the phone, you're in shock, really. And talking with him on the phone, just trying to calm and be with him while figure out what's happening, took a few minutes for me. And I couldn't feel her. And so after chatting with him for a few minutes, I said, okay, let's just pray. So we started praying together, and then of course now I could feel my mom, who's on the other side. And then there was Faye, his wife. She was just right there in front of me, very crystal clear. And she said, it was my time. She was calm. The calm was immense. Just this calm. It's like, okay. So I told my brother, had him on the phone. I said, it was her time. She says it's her time. So everything moved on, and we weren't sure what was going to happen. And then by Friday morning, we realized we were having a memorial service the next day at our church that I was going to be doing. So I tried to stay joyful in between clients, and I would say I was tender, in a tender space, and bless Charmaine's heart yet again. In between clients, she's trying to put together a brochure for the memorial service, call in flowers, email people, I need some help, blah, 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 and handle all this stuff in a matter of 2 seconds as I'm flying around this place. At the end of the day, that day, I released the executive operating system off the computer. I did several other things that I can't even think to mention at this point, because I was so tender in my energy and not quite joyful. Patrick was so sweet. We went that night, bought all the food for the memorial service, and just being in that energy, no, it's okay. We all just started lifting into joy. He never lost his joy. But the next morning, and this is why the whole story, the next afternoon when I prayed in, before the memorial service, I was praying in there in the back. My dad came. My dad's been gone since 2000. He's right there. Right there. And I said, hey, came for the funeral. Everybody comes for your memorial service. You know that. Everybody on the other side, everybody's here, family, friends, they all come. And right behind him was Faye. Oh my God. She was young. She was beautiful. And I do not exaggerate. She had an aqua blue draping on. She had long, beautiful blonde hair, like I knew when she was young. She looked like the happiest I have ever seen in my life. The joy coming from her was unbelievable. It was like a young girl getting married. Have you ever been around a young girl who's just, it's her wedding day? And I've done quite a few of those. And they're just like, there's nothing wrong with the world. They're so excited and so happy. And the word wedding came into my mind. I felt and I knew she was going to walk into a new world. Just like you do when you get married. She is going to walk into a new experience. And she was ecstatic. That pure joy that she was sharing in that moment was immense. And it was like, man, it was her time. If she'd stayed one more day, been too long, because she was ready. She was ready. And those of us left behind, those in the room, everybody's processing their feelings and emotions, and it's not a service where I can tell them that. I guess that's why I wanted to tell you this. Yeah. We are spirit, and I thought, if every one of us could maintain that sense of expectancy, joyful expectancy, right here, right now, every day could be a walk into a new dimension. We don't have to live in the same working consciousness. We could go into a new dimension every day. We could lift up and say, no, 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 I'm going to be joyful. I have lived long enough to know it doesn't have to be the way it's always been. And that's true for me. I have lived long enough to know it doesn't have to be the way it's always been. And I've lived long enough to know that for you as well. It doesn't have to be the way it's always been. It can be anything. Absolutely anything. But if we choose in less than joy, we're maintaining that working consciousness. You see? Just, can you feel the joy in your heart? Can you feel like you're glad you're on the planet? Can you be glad you're on the planet? Can you love your body that it carries you around on this planet? Okay. All right. Joy. That beautiful celebration of self and that celebration of life. And you know, during the memorial service, it wasn't all about Cindy anymore. I'm not celebrating life with me, about me. But I'm celebrating life with Faye, with Bobby, and with all those left behind. You know? Because they needed someone to help them celebrate. Does that make sense? One of the things that came out of my mouth during that memorial service, which I was surprised came out of my mouth, I said, God is never more real than when you die. And that is when the rubber meets the road. I was more gentle, of course. But God is right here, right now. God is right here, right now. Why not it just be so familiar? I expect that when I cross over, me and God will high five. It's like, what took you so long? Well, you knew I was coming. And, you know, we'll chitty-chat about the last 5 minutes because I have been with God the entire life. You know, that it should be so familiar. That transit should be so familiar. Just taking a step. That comes with joy. The one thing that will take you out of your spirit is anything that diminishes your joy. Because your spirit is joy. My state is joy. What is our affirmation? I am joy by divine right.
Joy is my divine right.
Joy is my divine right. Joy is my divine right.
State.
Thank you, Zarai. Good job. All right, let's just feel that joy. Let's put our feet on the floor. Let your focus now go to your heart center, to that beautiful energy of the I am within you. And I want you just for a minute, feel your heart expanding and feel all of the things your soul has been working on. Just energy, energy, energy flowing through your heart. No matter what you feel, I want you to know there is joy behind all of it. So take a breath and let yourself move deep into the heart center now. Feel the beautiful love of God engulfing you. And just feel a willingness to know self. Father, Mother God, feed us that joy that passes understanding. That knowing that we are awesome, powerful, and I want you to allow a sense of joy to begin to bubble up in your heart. And it may be just a sensation, you may see a color, whatever happens is appropriate for you. Just joy coming up, flowing through you. Feel that vibration moving through the entire auric field. We're going to build our clothing. Send it through your body, not to the auric field. And build my aura in a heavenly state. Take a breath and say, my joy starts today. Right now, right here. My joy starts today. God, we love you so much. We thank you for the guidance from our guides and teachers. We thank you that Jesus Christ guides our hearts to laugh. And we thank you that we have each other, that we can enjoy this beautiful world with. Feel your love for God, your love for the Christ, and feel your love for self. And very gently open your eyes. I'm awesome. Let's say that. I'm awesome. I love it! Thank you. All right, we're still working on joy, guys. Not letting up, not letting up. Be good stewards and focus. When you feel yourself going wham, you are in working consciousness. You have not lifted dimensions. When you have to be generous with other people, be generous with other people in a joyful way. Can we do this?
Yes.
Say God.
Yeah.
Thank you.